1 week away from election night and decision 2022, and there are now just a few days left of early voting in Arizona. And both parties, the candidates, are really working to get out the vote.
The numbers of early return ballots are lagging behind, though, the 2018 midterm election numbers. But one election analyst says turnout in this midterm could still be very high. News 4 Tucson's Eric Fink is live downtown with more on the projected turnout. Good evening, Eric.
Sean, Monica, good evening. More than 150,000 Pima County voters have already cast a ballot in this midterm. That number is more than 1 million statewide, just 25%, down from about 30% with a week to go in 2018, which nationwide set an all-time voter turnout record in a midterm election.
Democrats are right on pace, if the GOP gets out their turnout that they're looking for, we're going to probably be on pace with that record turnout year in 2018.
Sam Almy is an elections data analyst with Uplift Campaigns. He's a numbers guy who tracks early ballot returns by party in battleground Arizona. Right now, Democrats have a narrow advantage in return ballots. 4 years ago, the GOP saw an edge throughout early voting. But Almy points to changes in voting patterns starting in 2020 that he says accounts for the shift. Republicans vote more heavily on Election Day.
The Republicans, they decided to show up at the polls and vote in person. And that sort of flipped the trends that we've been seeing in Arizona. In 2018, at this point in time, Republicans had about 112,000 ballot advantage. Right now, the Democrats have an advantage of about 27,000.
Midterms are always a referendum on the presidency, and I think the referendum on the Biden presidency is going to be a little bit more moderate than the referendum on the Trump presidency, just because Biden is simply not as polarizing an individual as Trump was.
Eric Safir is a political science professor at Pima Community College. He knows this last week of campaigning is about getting out the vote and turning out the base. Former President Barack Obama will be in Phoenix tomorrow night for a rally with Mark Kelly and Katie Hobbs. This weekend, the top 4 GOP candidates statewide will blitz through Arizona on a bus tour.
I honestly don't know that politicians coming in and campaigning are going to make a big difference. But yes, the game is very much about turnout, and in recent weeks, the polls have definitely swung in a Republican direction in Arizona and nationwide.
Now, there are quite a few toss-up races in our swing state, including the very tight race for governor and that tight race for the U.S. Senate seat here in Arizona. Eric Safir says it could be several days after election night, if not up to a week, before we know the winner in some races. He says that is not an indication of a slow process, rather the election system working the way it should. We're live tonight downtown. I'm Eric Fink, News 4 Tucson.